gonna count down to Chewbacca. 1.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Level With You show. My name is Wiley Olmstead, and joining me this week, we've got the not-so-phantom producer, Tyler Hadley.
Howdy doodly, everybody.
The Sub-Zero hero himself, Kenny Castro.
What's up? What's up? That is me, the Sub-Zero hero.
And last but certainly not least, the do-artistic one, Anthony Duart. What's going on?
Chewbacca! He gets so booky! I didn't know Chasing Amy ended in a fourth wall break.
All right, if you are listening or you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. This is a weekly video game podcast where we all get together and talk about, you guessed it, video games. Really help us out if you hit that like button, even more if you hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends about what an entertaining and thought-provoking and interesting video game podcast you have stumbled upon. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Join the Discord, description down below. Fun stuff going on there. Anyway, that's the rigmarole for this week. How's everybody doing? How's the Christmas shopping treating you?
Christmas shopping's good. I think I have officially found presents for everybody on my list, and feel good about it because I feel like I've done it all earlier than
Are they wrapped?
Actually, most of them are. Yes, I have like 2 that are not wrapped yet.
That is much better than me. How about you, Anthony and Kenny?
I'll let Kenny go first because I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't specify.
No, that's okay. I just don't know.
It's been going good. No complaints here. I have almost wrapped it up. I still just gotta pick up.
See what he did there.
My brother and his wife's gift. Those are the ones that I have left.
Gotcha. Okay. I actually made a little Google Doc for myself with all my list, and I have like Mom, half done. Elena, 1/3 done. Dad,
Hell yeah.
done. Jay, done. Just going through the list of all the folks I need to buy for, and it's helping me out. And I got all of the ones that I have bought stored in my closet here, and they shall be wrapped.
Don't let anyone know. Wow, you can't tell them.
And distributed in some form or fashion. We're still figuring out what this COVID Christmas is going to look like, but we'll get through it, and
Sure.
Oh yeah,
it'll be fun as usual. And had some wonderful latkes last week. Celebrate Hanukkah, just as a.
What night is it? What night of Hanukkah is it? It's like the.
Today, I think we're at
Yeah?
like 7 or 8 now. We're getting towards the end. Maybe it's 6, but I know we're definitely in the latter half. But I don't know about you guys, but it seems like latkes have sort of blown up as a thing that even non-Jewish people are getting into around this time of year. Is that something that I just missed out on, or am I accurate in that's sort of like a new thing?
Latkes are trendy now.
I don't think I've
Yeah, I
ever
think
had
so.
one, but
Oh,
Yeah, no, I haven't had one either.
I feel
I
like
don't know
I
why
feel
we're
like I
doing
may have heard about them more this year than in years past, but I'm not sure why that would be.
I don't know either, but my my roommate Christian went pretty nuts making 5 different types the other night, which was a lot of fun and required some stamina.
Is he Jewish?
He is not Jewish, no.
oh, see, I thought he was Jewish when you said that in the group chat. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know Wiley's
I'm
roommate
like,
is
oh
Jewish.
wow,
It would be a little bit ironic having a roommate named Christian who is a Jew, but
That was the other thing I wanted. I was hoping you said yes, because then I was gonna be like, well, it's ironic that he's Christian and he's Jewish.
I did watch one of the best Hanukkah movies there are out there.
is there more than the
Eight
Adam
Crazy Nights.
Sandler one?
I was about to say, is it Adam Sandler's Eight Crazy Nights?
My
You
favorite
bet it is.
movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
So good.
that's
Yes.
my favorite holiday movie, hands down.
Still holds
Sweet.
up.
Hell
So
yeah,
you-
it does.
You were watching 8 Crazy Nights the other night. You were also watching some old Rudolph movie.
Oh
Are
yeah,
you
I
just-
watched the classic Rudolph movie, and man, Santa is a prick in that movie.
I laughed really hard when I saw that. I was like, oh my god. I had to go
Like-
back and watch that.
Like for real, like Rudolph is born, and then Santa's like, "Oh, he's got a red nose. This is a disgrace, Blitzen. How could you bear a child that has a red nose?"
Who did you put your seed inside?
And then Rudolph is like the best one flying in the the reindeer practice, and then his nose pops off, and Santa's like, "Oh, such a shame." Like, geez, Santa,
What a dickhead.
be
You're
accepting.
right. Which
Yeah.
which movie came before that one? Was it The Year Without a Santa Claus? Because maybe they canceled Santa back then. And they're like, Santa, you're such a prick. We're gonna do it without you.
We've
I
been seeing
can't. I'm not
cancel
sure what
culture since
years
then.
came out at.
I just looked it up, and it seems like the one you're describing is the 1964 TV special one. Was it about 47 minutes long?
Yeah, that one, the one with the puppets and the abominable snowman and the misfit toys.
Those
Gotcha.
movies used to scare the shit out of me when I was little. I loved
Yeah.
them, but like there were certain ones that just scared the crap out of me. Like I loved watching. I had the little drummer boy on VHS at my grandparents' house, and I remember always watching that. Couldn't tell you a thing about it now because I had no clue what it was about. But I remember a little boy and he was drumming.
That is a good
He,
one.
so is Caitlin the one initiating all these holiday watchathons, or is that your thing too?
No, it's mostly her. But I mean, something that I have discovered is that a lot of these old Christmas movies, like the Rudolphs, The Year Without Santa Claus, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, you can all get those on like YouTube for free because they're now designated as like kids content. So
Ooh,
they're
baby.
not monetized or anything like that. So you can just
Hell
stream them.
yeah.
Huh, interesting.
So you think we're gonna have a watch party for Rudolph?
Yeah, dude, I'm
Nice,
down.
I gotta watch
Have
it
a couple
again.
drinks.
I already watched it this year.
You can't do it double. Well, actually, I would love to watch 8 Crazy Nights because you can watch that movie at least like 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
before you're like, I don't want to watch it anymore.
Good one. Pulls at your
I've
heartstrings.
never seen it.
What?
You've never seen it?
No,
Oh
I've
my
never
god.
seen it.
Oh, I had
Oh my gosh.
I had the divorced parents thing growing up. So my dad was the one that would let us watch like Simpsons and all the other naughty stuff that my mom wouldn't let us watch. So he rented 8 Crazy Nights with us and his girlfriend, and we watched that. And man, I mean, maybe that's the way I am. Why I am today. But I gotta tell you, I learned so
Could
many
be.
lessons from Whitey. I love them all.
Whitey Duval.
I'm Whitey Duval. Hey, Davey, stop being such a prick, you piece of shit. Why don't you just learn how to play basketball with the little kids?
That was a pretty good fake Sandler voice.
Oh, I didn't know that was Adam Sandler for the longest time.
As weird as it is, because I love watching scary movies all October, and once it becomes November, I'm like, oh yeah, I could still watch it, but it just doesn't feel quite right. But when it comes to December, even though Christmas is hands down my favorite holiday, it's not something that I get into. Like I watch Elf. That's probably my go-to. I've had enough of Christmas Story for at least another few years.
I never saw the appeal to Christmas Story personally. I just I don't know if I brought it up before. Have I brought up the scene where they're like at the dinner table and he's like, "Oh, that's my little piggy," and it's like the little boy with the brother who's like, "You're just like eating food and it's super fucking gross," and then they all just like awkwardly laugh, really weird, and it's scary.
You have brought it up before, and yeah, that's a very strange part.
It scarred me, man. I don't know. I can't let it go.
Yeah. That thing about things being funny when they're really not that funny is another thing that I'm running into a lot with Stephen King books. And it's a common sort of meme or thing that people go back to on the Reddit is that just a lot of moments in the books where people laugh until they cry, like really frequently. And you're saying to yourself, I guess that would get a chuckle out of me, but I don't know. These people are, I don't know what's going on.
I could maybe it's like to amplify the insanity in a way where it's like it's like the SpongeBob Christmas episode where Santa at the very end is going ho, 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 whoa.
Man, I would be down to watch. It's been too long since I dipped back into some SpongeBob.
I remember when that was first airing, my friend had videotaped it off TV and the Bubble Bowl episode played before that.
Where can you watch SpongeBob these days? Is it on one of the big streaming services?
I think it's on Crunchyroll. No, wait, Verve maybe?
I don't think it's
Verve
on
and
Crunchyroll.
SpongeBob.
Oi.
Anyway, that's for another time. We should get into some of the games we've been playing. Later in the show, we're going to be discussing, as well as I'm sure beforehand a little bit, the disastrous week that CD Projekt Red has had regarding Cyberpunk's PS4 and Xbox One versions. We're also going to be talking about some of the things that I thought were neatest in the Game Awards, and I'm sure that the rest of the crew has some input on that as well. But let's start things off. I have not been lucky enough to procure a PS5 or a Series X, despite multiple efforts on multiple days. Just the same
Same,
as
brother. Preach.
many other folks, Anthony, and as well as just about everyone I know except Tyler and Kenny. So,
Yeah,
uh,
guys. 2 out of 4.
yeah, what's up? What's up?
What the fuck?
50%.
So
I I will go down in history saying that Tyler's PS5 was up for grabs.
Okay.
I
It
know
was.
it was, and I was a
You-
fool and should have called hosting privileges. I don't know.
the message is saved there that says Wiley Olmsted. You can have it, Tyler.
Right.
Screenshot it in case if
Yeah.
ever it comes up in the future.
Yeah,
I actually printed it out and it's I taped it to the top of the PlayStation.
damn it. Hindsight's
Uh,
2020. That's all I can say. So I picked up Cyberpunk on PS4 a few months ago. Pre-ordered it on Amazon. Wanted the stickers and bullshit that came with it. It was on sale for $50. So I got it on release day, and couldn't play it on release day. But on Saturday, I spent a good 9 hours with it, and I will say that right off the bat, I was impressed. I chose the Nomad as my one of my three paths that you choose. That sort of creates you the past background for your character, and the game begins in the Badlands, sort of a Mad Max type area on the outskirts of the city. Not a lot going on out there, and it looks good. It looked really impressive actually, and I uh, was cautiously optimistic. And once I got into Night City, I definitely started to see some issues. But at that time, engaged with the story. I think that the way that it sort of throws you in there is commendable, if not a little confusing, because there's a little bit of a time skip once you get to Night City. You meet someone, Jackie, very likable, well acted character to an extent, a little bit of a stereotype, but um, he's your partner, and you assumedly have a few months doing stuff in the city because you already have some sort of a reputation going for yourself by the time you actually resume your play. But I thought the Deshaun character, who's sort of the fixer that you're in conversation with and doing jobs for, was well acted and portrayed. I thought that there were some really impressive set piece moments with just the story in general. It did grab me, and I was like, this is definitely, I can look past the glaring frame rate issues and the bugs because I'm just having a good time with it. But once I got to Act Two, things started to take a pretty serious turn for the worse, um, and you're sort of left to your own devices in the city. And there's lots of side quests you can do. Uh, but it's just the performance and the atmosphere of Night City feeling sort of empty. The crowd density that we've seen for years in E3 trailers and everything like that is simply not there. The frame rate when you're fighting gets down to 15, 20 frames per second seemingly when you're trying to land parries with your katana, and which is the play style I was going for. I really wanted to be a hacker slash swordsman, and it was
a
going
spell
good.
sword equivalent, pretty much.
There you go. And it just got to a point where the combat sucked, so I would be trying to stealth my way through situations, and because I hadn't put any points into stealth at that point, I was really easily alerting people, and um, I just wasn't enjoying the combat, so I would reload my save, and this happened a few times on a couple of different missions. And then I started reading some more things online about IGN gave the PS4 Xbox One version a 4 out of 10. They're being quite vocal about it as far as it just being in an unacceptable state. I had about 5 to 6 crashes in my 13 hours with it, and that's by no means good. I ran into an issue where I completed a quest, and it's still showing up in my um, quests to do, um, and just driving through the city, man, you just don't have the immersiveness that you want to. Like, the game is way more Grand Theft Auto than I had envisioned. Like, there is a lot of driving and just getting from point A to point B in the city, which should feel great. Like, the driving itself doesn't feel bad, but just the frame rate and the lighting, it has this real grainy effect that I don't know if it's trying to hide something or what, but uh it's jarring, and just all the lighting effects are not working how they should. The HDR doesn't particularly improve things either. So
What's that mean
sadly,
again?
high dynamic range.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
a lot of most or a lot of 4K TVs have it, and it really tends to make things pop a lot more color wise.
Hmm.
But yeah, what questions do you guys have? I mean, this is like a game that I was high on for the first few hours, turned on pretty hard, and now I've decided to just put down until either I get a PS5 or these patches that they roll out in the next couple weeks really improve things.
I really hope that they do. I'm hoping, because I was talking to my buddy Pat about it on Saturday, and he was basically the same thing. He was really enjoying it, but he's like, man, it runs like doo doo.
What's he playing it on?
He's playing it on the Xbox One,
Gotcha.
so he's just like, it's real bad. He's like I want to like it so bad, but it's just all the frame rate, the performance issues, and usually like those are things that I can see sometimes that I'm like, oh yeah, well it does suck, and adds to the detriment. But like from what I've been seeing from everybody and everybody's experiences, this looks just like unplayable, especially when
It's,
it's Borderlands like combat too, right? So it's like first person, you have your HUD.
I guess you could compare it to a Borderlands type combat. I mean, there's numbers coming off of people when you shoot them. It's much more RPG. Well, Borderlands is pretty RPG as well, but I would say this one even more so. I think the mechanics as far as customizing your character once the game is fully playable, and if you've got a high-end PC rig right now, that's obviously how you should be playing it. But I think it's pretty excellent. Like, I think that there's a lot of different ways you can approach situations. I think that once you start getting into augmenting your character's body, and there's pretty neat sort of perks you can buy for your different parts of your body, and it all looks very stylish. And there's neat things like once you take melee damage, you do 5% electricity damage and things like that, that I really think you could spec out your character in really neat ways. But it's just a shame because I personally I don't have a high-end PC, but I do have disposable income. I could buy a PS5 or a Series X and be playing it, but unfortunately I don't have that option. So I'm stuck on last gen, as 40% of people are playing right now on old gen consoles, according to a report from CD Projekt Red. So
That blows my
it,
mind that they're calling it last gen still. What it's like, yeah, I know they just came out and that's like the new next gen hardware, but it's. I mean, I can see the certain games and certain systems the performance like boost, but I
right,
mean,
and like Tyler's played the first few hours on PS5, and this is not a PS5 optimized game, but thanks to its monstrously more powerful hard drive and or SSD and teraflops, what's been your experience?
I mean, the game's crashed. I mean, I've only played for probably about 3 to 4 hours. Not a whole lot. I haven't pressed tutorial that much. Um, but I mean, seemingly it seems to run fine. It looks good, I guess. Like I said, I mean, the way that I started the game, so I did started off as Corpo, so right in Night City from the very beginning.
Hmm.
um, and I mean, things have looked good so far. Um, I think there's just a lot going on in the beginning. I think I did get the things that I have to talk about are more into kind of like the gameplay and stuff like that. But it just seems like they do throw you like right into the action, or like looking at all your things, and I think maybe I just haven't progressed in the story enough to really like learn about everything. Because
Hmm.
I'm still kind of like looking at my inventory and um figuring out like what side quests mean, like because I have already like before I even like really start the main mission, I've got like 4 or 5 side quests. It's like
Hmm.
I'm kind of one of those people that's like, well, if I can do some of these side quests before I progress the story, I like to do that.
Hmm.
Um, and they give you the difficulty of those side quests, whether it's moderate, hard, or very
Very
hard,
hard.
or
Hmm.
which I really didn't kind of know how to interpret. Like, what is very hard? What is hard? Like, is it actually going to be hard?
They are. They are. They are what it's related to how you're leveled. So if it's moderate, then it's doable. If it's hard, in my experience, it's not time to do it yet. But
Yeah, because I went to one of the hard side quests. It was like a fist fight, like twins, and I was like, I just got my ass handed to, lost like 500 bucks.
Ooh.
oh yeah, I
Okay.
just won $4,000 on that same mission. But I'm a lot higher level than you.
Yeah,
I
Is it
actually
like one of
really,
those when you die you lose half of whatever you're carrying, or it's
no, it was like a gamble type thing. Like you bet
ah
500 on it, or you could have bet more if you had one.
yeah.
Okay.
So that was one that was fine for me, and I actually enjoy, for the most part, the melee combat. My character has a lot of spec in the body, whatever that is supposed to mean. But so my my fists are pretty strong, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
you got beefy
the other
hands.
thing that I've been annoyed about is it seems like it's switching your active quest on me a lot, and I don't know if you've experienced as well. Like every time I progress like one of the side missions, it'll just like automatically like switch me back to whatever like my main quest is. Well,
Yep,
I still have more of the side quest to do, so why are you back to the main? So I have to like,
totally.
and then like going into like your start menu and navigate like I don't know. Again, I'm not sure if there's like a speedier way to get your quest, or but having to like hit start, go all the way over to journal, go through your entire list of seems like a lot of work just to like which quest.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. The UI, I think, is, while it can be stylish in some sections, is a mess in other ways. And come to think of it, that has happened to me a couple times where I think I'm done with a quest because it goes back to my main quest, but then I realize, oh, I still had to collect my reward from
Hate that.
it. Yeah. So it's a bummer, man, because I was so excited for this game. And once the reviews came out for PC only, it seemed like it was really going to stick the landing and be the game that everybody wanted it to be. And this week, I would say this is in the running for the worst launch of all time, in terms of feedback from. I mean, what else compares? We got Battlefield or Battlefront 2,
Fallout
Oh.
76.
Fallout 76,
Hmm.
No Man's Sky. But I would argue that this is, since there were nefarious things done by CD Projekt Red, why don't we just, instead of breaking it up into two parts of the show, I think we should just have one of our topics of the show now, which was a
Okay.
response to CD Projekt Red's letter that they put out in one of their big yellow splashes from a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to read some of that now. So this is from CD Projekt Red. Dear gamers, first of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing you the game on base last gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Hmm.
That's just a kind
This
of
is
a
true.
baffling statement to me as a game that's been shown at trade shows for years now and was never considered a next gen title until it started getting delayed.
Yeah, it
Um,
is pretty ridiculous that because they've been boasting about it being on current gen console.
Right. I mean, I don't know if they've just been saying like just referring to it as last gen consoles, which they do later on. Um, the fact that they didn't show it when they knew, like they of course they knew that this game was
Yeah.
going to run like shit. They sold a staggering amount of pre-orders, 8 million, a little less than half of those being on consoles that right now uh, is sitting at somewhere around a 40 something on Metacritic, and is being they're offering refunds, but the refund, it's like contact PSN and contact Xbox, which they have pretty strict refund policies. Steam, if you've paid it for more than 2 hours, you can't get a refund. And then you're supposed to email this whoever's the poor person that's responding to these requests for refunds. It's just a mess, man. And they go on to say, we've got one patch coming out next week or within the next 7 days. Then we have a large patch in January and a large patch in February. It's just complete. They may as well be saying, we know we should have delayed the game on last gen consoles. It was ready for PC. We just said screw it and felt like we could absorb the backlash and people would, I don't know, like it the more I think about it, the more, and I'm always on the developer side. You guys, if you listen to the show, you know that I'm anti-crunch. I'm always giving them the benefit of the doubt, whether or not something's buggy or not. I'm usually willing to look past it or, you know, turn a blind eye to some things that some other gamers are get up all in a tizzy about. But this one, I think, is going to take a lot of work for them to make good on. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. Look at No Man's Sky, just won best ongoing game at the Game Awards. And, you know, this is the Witcher 3 developer. This is the developer CG Projekt Red that has been like a good guy developer. Oh, look at all this free DLC that we're handing out when The Witcher came out. And, oh, well, we write a little thank you note to our fans in the games. And this is just them walking out the gate and getting pied by a big old pie.
Yep. Shame. Because yeah, the Witcher didn't have these issues. That game was released, so
No, I mean it had
it was
issues, but it was certainly playable. Like they did things to make the UI better, and I'm sure fixed a lot of bugs, and certainly improved the game as time went on. But no, I played it on PS4. It was great from the get go. So, what's your thoughts, Kenny?
It's been honestly, this is just such a fumble on their part, and I've been just following it on Twitter how it's getting bashed. And you know what? I actually thought the smartest thing I've read was a tweet by Jason Schreier. He was like, "Might have they should have just said we're gonna release it, but it's early access. It's still not the full release." You know, like because this isn't if it needs like 2, 3, 4 more patches to be at the quality of a at its best quality, then it's an early access game. We paid $60 for an early access game that is gonna have bugs. You expect bugs and things like that. You know, might as well start doing that with the AAA titles when you're not fully shipping it at full quality.
Right. I think that that's something to consider. I mean, of course, that would probably have made it so there were less
Less
initial sales.
exactly, but you would have had people buying it, right? And they would have came in expecting bugs. Would have came in expecting things to not be 100% or for the game to crash here and there. They would have expected some of these things, not all of it, but some of it. And whoever wanted to hop into the train once all the patches came out, that's $60. It doesn't matter when you receive the $60. You still, as long as you still get it, right?
True, and a lot of early access games. I don't know about a lot, but I know that Baldur's Gate is $60 in early access, so it's not unprecedented that they do that. Um,
Yeah.
it's just for something that I was so anticipating, that the gaming community as a whole was so anticipating, just to cap off 2020 with the release of this game that has been more than 5 years in the consciousness of gamers. It's just they should have pushed it. They should have pushed it, and they would have gotten a shitload of backlash. I'm sure that there are shareholders and behind the scene managers making the wrong calls, but that's the end of it. And as much as I still have a little bit of a desire to play it because some of the stuff there was so neat and ambitious, and what's his name, Keanu Reeves is really good in it. It's just not in a state where I want to experience it for the first time. So I'm putting it down for a few months. I'm not going to ask for a refund, but we'll see how that January patch turns out, and maybe I'll dip back in.
Sounds good.
Sad. So moving on with the show.
Oh, hey guys, sorry, I don't know what happened. I got the dial-up got loose and I just got sucked in the internet.
Oh,
was actually-
the AOL.
Yeah, know what happened, man.
Now you're invading half of my screen. It looks
See,
like.
this, the dial-up did it. I got popped out. I got popped back in.
Are you
I'm on the case.
okay?
I lost my arm too. I don't know what happened to it. It's on your side of the screen.
It's perfect timing though, because I just finished my long Cyberpunk rant and was commiserating
better
with
now?
a little bit.
Cool.
That was what's that word? Lethargic. Yes.
Gotta get it out. Yeah, vent.
So Kenny finished Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Ooh,
Yes, so good.
I'm so proud.
Amazing ending to it. Anthony, where are you at right now?
I am literally where I told you on Friday still. That was the last time I played it, was the battle arena. So I killed all 30 floors in the battle arena and
I
grinded to level 50.
need you to progress forward, right? Because man, who you get to see in the next part to end, like to kind of wrap up chapter 12. Tyler was like, Tyler doesn't know much about Yakuza, but he was like, is that a returning character? I was like freaking out. I knew exactly the moment it happened who it was,
Yeah,
and I was so hyped and excited.
I'm
Well,
so stoked.
now I have a little
can't
bit of an
wait.
inkling who it is, but
You know who it is, Wiley, and it was kind of dope. And because they throughout the whole thing and for the rest of the game, no one's supposed to say his name. So everybody just acts like he's a regular guy or just some a regular schmo from the street.
cool.
Oh, I'm so excited. I
and
can't wait.
I'd love to hear a spoiler cast with you two, and I guess maybe Tyler could join. Did you watch Kenny's entire playthrough?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
That's awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
stoked to beat
I
it.
could talk about the story and stuff like that. You guys
Yeah.
played it, so I wouldn't be able to chime into combat.
Well, if it's a spoiler cast, it's going to be pretty story focused. I'm sure that they
Yep.
would love to have you.
Oh yeah, I've just been grinding all the classes. Like I've just been going back, and it's great. The arena's crazy with all that experience because you can just like
Oh yeah.
you go
But-
in and like the first like 3 floors at least. On like my guy's level
but
1, he shoots up straight to like
Don't
class
worry,
10.
man. That's not gonna matter much once you get that next underground dungeon in the
Mhm.
next town. Oh my god.
Oh
You
shoot.
So here's my hint for you. When you
Okay.
fight the caveman,
There's the caveman?
yes, the caveman you fight the caveman, which is like the metal slime version of
Okay.
it's like the Yakuza's metal slime. There's one character you need to use because his one ability with the gun does actually 2 damage per hit. And it
With a
makes a
gun?
huge difference. It's Jungi
He gets a gun? Oh yeah, the guns. Yeah, that's what I've been doing because the ones in the first underground dungeon in Yokohama, you can use. I've been using that, and I've been using I
So
have I taught both the girls the matriarch, the bullet of honor. So they
Yep.
just
Perfect. Those, and because in the last underground dungeon, you
Mhm.
find more cavemen, and you find exactly 4 of them
That's
every
crazy.
single run through. And every single time you kill them, it awards 490,000 experience.
Jeez.
That's a big
Yeah.
That's huge. That's like a literal metal slimes. That's awesome because I found those guys when I was going through the first time. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, is this the guy? Because it's just this weird hobo looking dude with a stick. And I
Yep.
was like, that's weird. So I went and he was like higher level than everybody. So I went and tried to attack him, and he did one. No matter who it was, did 1 damage.
Yep.
So I was like, I think those are the guys.
Yep. So yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So in the next town, you're gonna find him again. but at a much higher level, and he's gonna award a shit ton of experience. And
Stop it.
honestly, that right there, I was able to I was like, you know what, we're grinding through, and even with my grinding, and even being, I believe, 5 levels above the last boss, I still got rocked twice.
Wow.
Dang.
Twice. There was
So
one
this,
point like I got killed and Tyler was in the chat like, "Oh my, he hit you one punch and knocked you
Yeah.
out."
I
Mhm.
hate those.
this is the worst.
Is it
Yep.
like is like a Hama kind of thing for Persona where it's like you can use it's like an instant kill if it hits?
Yeah, it's an instant kill if you're not guarding.
Okay, because there's also if you picked up that item from one of the sub stories that avoids
Yep.
instant knockout.
Yeah, I have it, but I never have it equipped.
Yeah,
So
same.
the thing was that I wasn't paying attention to the commands like above the enemy. So
Mhm.
because he kind of tells you like because he'll tell you when he's doing it. Like so he'll be like, "Oh, the fist of God." That fist of God is the instant kill.
Oh god,
Yeah, and then
literally.
if he does the other hand, which is just the fist of like death or whatever, it doesn't instant kill, but it does damage. Or it's the dragon punch, and then it does damage, but it doesn't instant kill.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but it's still crazy. I was looking, and the last true dungeon in the game, you unlock it after completing the story, and it's been recommended that to beat that one, you need to max out at least at minimum 3 jobs.
Really? Oh, to get all those stats. Yeah, because I didn't
Yep.
notice that when you do when you level up in the jobs, those
Mhm.
stats are permanent boosts. It's not just the
Yes.
skills too, like the red skills.
Yep.
I thought it was just red skills, but it's like all those stats you get.
Our permanent boost. Yep. Which is
Wow.
crazy because I beat this game without ever changing Ichi's job. He went
What's his
through
job?
through and through. His class was the hero class from start to from the moment I unlocked it all the way through. I switched up everybody else once or twice and stuff like that. But I did read up a little bit. Namba's best class is the homeless guy. So I was like, there's no need to change that one. Adachi's, even though his best class was the enforcer, I didn't end up switching him just because I didn't at that point in time I was like, I'm not gonna grind the enforcer up to 30. I think we'll survive it without it. What I did start doing in later fights was swapping characters in and out of the fight. Something I hadn't been doing throughout the game.
So speaking of which, I just looked up Yakuza Xbox because I had a feeling that this news was coming, or I saw it through the grapevine somewhere. But
Oh
early
yeah,
next year, it looks like every Yakuza game is going to be available on the
Game Pass.
on Game Pass. We got 3, 4, 5, and 6 coming, and that's all of them because you already got Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of 1, Yakuza Kiwami 2, remake of 2. I guess they won't have the original PS2 versions of the games if you're really trying to be technical about things, but the entire saga story, Kiryu's journey, is going to be available early next year. So, it looks like January 28th, 2021 on
Yep.
this story from Game Rant. Do you have an inkling to go back and experience the entire thing now, Kenny?
In a way,
Yeah.
yeah. Because honestly, there's moments and characters you meet that kind of like have small callbacks to Kiryu.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Um, Anthony's gone, so I'm gonna say it
Yeah.
while he's gone. Kiryu
Yeah.
makes a dope entrance in chapter 12. Wiley,
Bro.
taking advantage that he's not in the call right now.
All right.
So
Well,
it's
hopefully there are
so
not any Yakuza Like a Dragon fans on Chapter 11 listening to the show, but
let's hope not. But honestly,
hope
it's
not.
cool because he makes the entrance, and then like everybody's kind of shocked, and then one person looks over like, "Oh, how did you find them?" And then like the person's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. He's just a regular security guard I hired." You know, and
Well,
so
I
it
never
calls.
played 6, so I don't know how his story ends, but this takes
So
place after that?
yep. So it's a callback to the ending of 6. And 6. I don't know if you care about if you're gonna ever go back to it, but
Yeah,
from my
don't
end,
tell me. I
yeah,
kind of do want to know
yeah.
or not know.
So don't know, but it ends in a way where it makes sense. Once you know the ending of 6, all the way they handle Kiryu in this game makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You think you're
Well,
gonna go back to the post game like a
Yeah.
dragon?
Yeah, I'm giving it a little bit so I could go back, and I have some sub stories I haven't finished because I'm honestly really truly very close to 100% in the game, or not 100% in the game, but getting every achievement, and at least 100%ing the Suji decks, 100%ing the sub stories as well.
Wow.
So I only have about 10 sub stories left, and about 10 Suji mans left to fight.
It's dedication, bro.
I know,
And
yeah, and then on those ones that are left is literally the last dungeon. Most of them are found in the last dungeon, so gotta kind of grind up and then take on that last dungeon and unlock those guys, because I did read that once I do that, I get to fight the Sujiman Sensei as the last person.
ooh.
Yeah,
The Mewtwo of the game.
yep, the Mewtwo of the game,
Nice. Bring your master ball.
right?
Okay, so if you want to watch Kenny play a bunch of Yakuza, it's all up on our YouTube channel. I should say that before we move on. So the Game Awards were this week. We did our first ever watch along, and it was a good time. I had a few
Good.
beers. We were a little more fast and loose than we usually are. So if you want to see us, is that on YouTube, or it's probably just in the Twitch archive, I imagine?
No, it's on YouTube too.
Oh, is it? Okay, nice. But anyway, it was a fun time, and
Okay.
I'm wondering what your main takeaways. Did the show live up to your expectations? Were you a little let down? What was your biggest surprise? All that type of stuff. Why don't we start with you, Tyler?
I thought it was a good show. I was happy with it. Happy to sit along and go for the ride. Not a whole lot of new game. I mean, I watched the show for the game announcement, not for the awards given, really. So,
Well, that's why they make it 70% of the show and they give out 3 awards in 10 seconds sometimes. Yeah.
right. So there was definitely a couple games. That like list is that Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
Smiley, can you hear me? Hello? Smiley,
What is happening?
I'm on the other side. I can't cross over. Help.
Oh, I just realized that.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Okay. So Jeff, I said hey.
Right,
That's funny.
If you're listening to the
Sorry.
podcast, you got to watch the video for that to make sense. But that was funny.
I came back from the internet again.
Back. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was that Crimson Desert game that I think a lot of us thought was Elden Ring.
Right.
It looked very kind of Soulsy a bit. A game that kind of fit the aesthetic that I've been interested in, kind of the sort of
Medieval times.
medieval, yeah.
Dragon's Dogma.
Right. We also were like, is this Dragon's Dogma 2, which has also been rumored lately.
Have you guys played that?
No, that's
You should.
I should. I hear good things about it. It's just, there's too many way super long games these days.
It's on Switch now.
I know, and it's like 3 times as expensive as it is on PS4. But
Exactly.
it's a Switch tax. So that was definitely at the top of my list as biggest surprises. I was like, this looks like a serious AAA game. It's from the creators of Black Desert, which
I was gonna say, right? Like, isn't it like a spin-off of Black Desert?
Yeah.
Online?
This one I don't believe is a MMO. It looked much more.
It's like a
it seemed like it.
single player experience, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It looked like right up my alley. And that's it's coming in 2021. Looked really impressive. I think that was the most the biggest surprise for me, besides, I don't know, Sephiroth
In Smash.
stabbing Mario in the neck.
I love that. It was just like, we can't be we can't show that, but we can do this. We can put Mario's overalls.
So I thought that trailer that they put for that was really dope.
That was really good.
Yeah,
That was
such a
like
good
probably
trailer.
the moment where I was like, what?
And that led off the show. Really good way to lead off the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it was just all.
Yeah. Kenny, I know you were on a one of our, what we'll call them, our sister station, Studio 149. What did you think of the award show?
Sister,
Well,
sister.
they did lose to us in Super Smash Brothers, so we get to call them the little sister.
No, I mean that as a term of endearment.
They love you over there.
Yeah, they do. They love Wiley.
They love well. Vic loves Wiley.
loves
Lightman prefers me, but Vic is like Smiley Wiley. That's my boy.
Well,
Hell yeah.
we should definitely do more collabs with them in the future.
But I will say my biggest surprise how bad Jeff Keighley's shoes were.
How bad?
How
Really?
big they were.
How big and bad they were. They just stood out. Like they
You're
were
like
like
Kingdom Hearts. Well, he's going for
I know,
the
I-
he was a gamer.
it
The
was
Kingdom
like
Hearts shoes.
I felt like it was a collaboration between Kingdom Hearts shoes and Sonic. You know,
You
they
gotta
were
go
like
fast.
real
He's gotta announce all the
blue,
awards.
real blue and big. I was like, oh, where's his Keyblade?
That's the Keyblade was with all the awards he was giving out.
Yep. No, but
Here's-
in all seriousness, I was ready to lose my cool when I was like, wait a second, is this Mass Effect? I'm like, wait a second. And I saw the old crew picking up Shepard's tag and 7 tag, and I'm like, oh snap! In the distance, you see the Krogan. I was like, it's his crew looking for his remains. They're looking for him.
And
so
then
that
said,
was the
"We'll
biggest
continue."
moment for you, was the Mass Effect trilogy
Oh,
thing?
people who know me know how much of a fan I am of Mass Effect and how disappointed I was with Andromeda. And for them even to even if we don't see Commander Shepard again, but if I get to relive new moments with the old crew, oh, that's huge for me. These are games that I played all from one through 3 multiple times, attempting
Wow.
different decisions, trying to get different people, see if different people survive the impossible mission in part 2, trying to see who would dies, who survives, romancing different aliens, different women. Like it
Mhm.
was.
I remember Miranda being a babe.
Oh yeah, Miranda was a babe, and just doing
My
different things.
character in
Like,
Andromeda was the first time I ever made a gay character. I was
oh,
gonna say
I don't blame you.
that.
Hey. So for me, even going back to that, somewhat anything to do with the trilogy is huge for me. Like when it comes out, the trilogy comes out, don't think twice whether or not I decide to stream it just because I want an excuse to play it.
You should
You
run
know?
me
Hell
through
yeah.
those, Kenny. That'd be fun. I've never played any
You
of
never
them.
played
I
them?
played the
Oh,
first one. I
man.
played the first one a bit, but then I just was like, oh, okay.
Man, I had all 3. I had all the DLCs. What didn't I do? You know?
Mm.
So do you think that they're going to be reworking some stuff from 1 to make it a little play, a little more
More
modern?
accessible, more modern. Yeah, you know, definitely.
I hope so. I guess I wouldn't mind too much if it was more of just a straight port, but I haven't looked much into this. Have they said that they're really overhauling some stuff, or okay, so it's optimized for 4K, Ultra HD?
And what's funny is that I almost even this is how much of a fan I am, right? I almost picked up Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U because it had like functionality with the tablet.
Wow,
I remember when that
you are a
launched.
big fan.
Yeah.
I sort of remember that. That's so funny. Just like a
I remember that making a lot of
idea.
people like,
It-
I might buy a Wii U for this.
It had like even though I never did anything with the Kinect because it had the Kinect functionality, like you could tell the team to take cover, aim there, move forward. But I remember doing a lot of the multiplayer of part 3. You know?
Oh yeah, that was slept on, I think,
Mhm.
for a lot of people. But I know that it had a big fan base, and
It had multiplayer.
You had
3
if you
did, yeah.
wanted the ending, like the true ending, you needed to get up to a certain percentage in the multiplayer.
That's
Oh.
bad. That's
And
bad.
do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's terrible now.
Yep.
And the ending, which I don't even know which is the right one or the one that I saw, because once 3 came out, there was a backlash almost as big as Cyberpunk's getting about the ending.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I
That's the
really don't.
craziness.
I don't. Let's not discuss that. That's a topic for another time. But
Is it like he like got the wrong color, like popsicle or something? You can pick between like red, blue, and green.
It's honestly, yeah, like it was almost all just kind of in a way they had similarities in the endings. It didn't matter which one you picked. And it's crazy how bad the ending was because the lead up to the ending was so climactic, you know?
mm,
Like you got like
well, they
the
patched. Did you
Reaper.
like the patched in ending? Sorry.
I hated all the endings. Hated
Oh,
even the patched in one. I was like, you serious?
They
I
patched one in.
I thought all my decisions would matter from part one all the way through
You
just to
thought
give me
wrong.
these generic 3 options?
man. Yeah, that's
Kill them all.
it's tough. It's really tough to make good games. All right, so that was Kenny's highlight of the show. Some of my other ones were the announcement of Disco Elysium's final cut coming, which is just a free update, which is going to give the game full voice acting, new quests, and I'm finally going to dive into this one. It's
Nice.
I've been meaning to for a long time, and let's
Excuse me.
see, my favorite surprise of the show, besides Crimson Desert, I guess, was Vin Diesel's participation in Arc 2.
Ugh.
What everybody think of this when they saw
It's a
Big
cool
Vinny
trailer.
up on screen?
I live with my
Pretty crazy.
dinosaurs a quarter mile.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Vin Diesel apparently is a big gamer. That's been known for a long time. But in particular, he loves Arc and has logged thousands of hours into it, and now actually technically works for
Wow.
the studio as the
Dang.
president of Creative Convergence. So
Wow.
this is a quote from somebody talking to PC Gamer. He understands the game intimately and is providing direct feedback to the development process. He's already hard at work reporting bugs, apparently. So this is for Arc 2, release date sometime in 2022. Certainly looked impressive, and it looks like they're going to be focusing on somewhat of a story-driven aspect as opposed to the more, well, in addition to, I should say, the more open world survivalness of the first game. Did you get Diener's input on this one, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did actually.
He's in cahoots
he-
with Vin Diesel. Don't lie.
Yeah, he's actually been selling dinosaurs to Vin Diesel.
Yo, Vin, I got a
Oh,
real good deal
he
on
can
this
afford it.
Raptor.
That's how he's making that scratch.
Yeah.
How you get rent,
Um,
baby?
But yeah, seems like he's interested in it. Obviously, this is kind of a single player campaign that it looks like it's going to be compared to what Arc is now. Whereas there is kind of like a story kind of campaign on to play single player now in Arc, but really it's more about like base building and survival, and where based on the trailer, if a game is going to look like how the trailer was, then
Yeah, if it's gonna
um,
look like a PS4, it looks like a Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War, which is what it's going for.
right, then it'll be kind of completely different from how the first Arc is.
Well,
So
we'll see.
I heard that they originally wanted The Rock, and The Rock said no. I don't like Ark, the game. So then they were like, who else was in Fast and the Furious? Oh, Vin Diesel. Let's ask him.
I could see it. I could see it.
was the Rock in Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, in one of the later
Starting
ones.
he started. I think the first one he was in 5.
Yep.
I'm thinking of Scorpion King. Never mind, wrong movie.
Well, he is in Scorpion King too.
Yeah, he's a Scorpion King,
Yeah.
right? He's
That
like,
was his-
We don't
He's
talk
the
about
break.
that. We don't talk about the 3G, the CG Scorpion King. We talk about the Scorpion King. When he was just him.
well, I
Not
don't know how you. I mean,
Pa-
I don't know how you make your money, but I make money on the internet drawing sexy Scorpion King. Make him have a big tail if you want.
We're gonna have to ramp
Big
up those
claws.
commissions, right?
I'll draw you big
Alright.
buff Scorpion King, kissing Vin Diesel and Chico, with a dinosaur in the background going. "Rawr."
With
So
Vin
that-
Diesel, the dinosaur.
So that mostly wraps up my most exciting moments. There were a couple other things. I thought that we got a couple good minutes of gameplay of Back for Blood as well as Warhammer Darktide. A couple different.
The Evil Dead game is gonna be great.
Mm.
Oh, okay. I forgot about the Evil Dead game. I think I was maybe grabbing a beer at that point.
Yeah, that one looks good. I'm excited for that one as well. That the new Dragon Age is also gonna be sweet.
It is, but did they actually show anything of substance, or was it just something
Just
to
another trailer.
another non-gameplay trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they brought back a couple characters that people are excited about.
Hmm.
I thought Returnal looked really neat.
That did look really cool with the gameplay because all we got last time it was shown off was the trailer, but that gameplay makes it look so much more interesting.
Yeah, so third-person shooter with the crazy particle effects of stuff like Resogun and what was that other one? Nex Machina. The studio is always been very critically acclaimed for the most part. Maybe a couple more so than others, but I don't think they've had a really successful game in some time. I think Resogun may have been that last one, which was a launch PS4 game, and they've made a few follow-ups to that over the course of the generation that never quite reached that same high, even though they were good. But this one is their first time venturing into a more 3D traditional modern game space. They're, they got the PlayStation Studios branding. Seems like Sony's really giving the resources they need to make something that is of a AAA caliber. So I'm super excited for that, and that's coming out in March exclusively for the PS5.
Yeah, when I first saw the trailer, it kind of reminded me much more high-end Risk of Rain 2 type game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going into this large environment, crazy big monsters and stuff. They just like shoot down. It is supposed to be
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Wow.
It is.
Didn't know
Wow.
that.
I'm just Googling it, and this is one of the $70 games. So looks like
Maybe worth it.
Sony's continuing with that. And yeah, they're it is sort of strange that the Housemarque games were $15 to $20 action over the top shooters, and they're really going all in on AAA. So neat. They even got a digital deluxe one for $80. So anybody got anything else they want to discuss about the Game Awards?
Whooper Watch. How many
Whooper
whoopers
Watch?
did you get, Anthony?
One. I got one whooper.
One whoop.
You got a whooper, so
Punk.
that was the Pokemon Go thing.
That's a Pokemon Go thing. That's all I got was one whooper.
Yeah, Master
Bullshit.
Chief and Fortnite.
We got Master Chief and Fortnite. We have the Red String of Fate anime game, which I don't know what that. We just saw a little bit of gameplay trailer. Monster Hunter Rise, which is gonna be cool.
Yep, on Switch.
Right.
That's what's
true.
like my highlight, but that's about all I remember.
Nice. Thank you for mentioning some things that I had forgotten.
You're welcome.
So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Level With You show. Thank you so much for joining us. Leave us a review on a podcast service if you don't mind. That'd be great. But until then, we will see you next week on December 22nd. Be there
Right before Crimple.
right before Crimple.
And I'll see you guys on MK Mondays while I raise the throne.
Hell yes. MK Mondays coming at you. We'll be sharing more in the coming days. Stay tuned.
Sayonara.
Bye bye.